Guys, so this is my review for Love and Hip Hop New York Season 10, Episode 1. They did Episodes 1 and 2 in one night. It was a 2-hour season premiere, but I'm going to separate the two into two separate videos because if I don't, this will be a very long video and I don't want it to be too long. So I was excited to do the reviews for Love and Hip Hop New York because out of all the Love and Hip Hop franchises, I think New York is the most entertaining, and I think that the other ones are not as entertaining. So, and maybe I'm a little bit biased because I am from the East Coast, not from New York, but very close to New York. And so maybe I'm a little bit biased, but this season was opened up by Chrissy and Jim Jones, okay? Because they were like the ones who put Love and Hip Hop on the map. They were on the first season of Love and Hip Hop New York, and a lot went down on the seasons that they were on. And so, you know, Chrissy's just reminiscing about all the ups and downs that happened, and she had ended up moving to Miami for a while. Things weren't going too good between her and Jim, and she needed a break. So she went to Miami for a few years. Now, she's on her way back to the house that her and Jim own together. And she gets to the house and she's expecting that Jim has everything cleaned up and that he's going to come outside and help her bring her bags in. He doesn't even help her bring her bags in the house. I was like, yo, he told her that they're her bags, so she needs to go get them. I'm like, you're helping me get my goddamn bags. Hell no. Like, imagine how heavy her bags probably are because she was in Miami for such a long time. Like, she was there for a few years, so she has a few years worth of shit she's bringing home with her, and you're telling her she needs to carry her bags herself. Hell no. Then Chrissy gets annoyed because the kitchen is dirty, okay? It's like messy, and I am completely with her on that. I don't like anything out of place in my house, so Jim definitely needed Chrissy there. She was gone for all them years. He looks a mess. The house looks a mess. He's gotten himself into some type of trouble since she's been gone. And so she's there basically to clean up all the mess that Jim has made. Okay. And she's also there to try to figure things out with some of the people who she had a falling out with before she went to Miami. One of those people being Kimbella. Kimbella is married to Joel Santana and they have children together. Joel Santana is currently in prison. And you know, Kimbella and Chrissy had a serious physical altercation in one of the seasons of Love and Hip Hop New York. It was bad. And so I'm interested to see when the two of them go into the same room together and be face to face because, you know, Chrissy was saying that Kimbella is one of the people that she wants to talk to and clear the air with, which I think is good that she's coming there to try to not, you know, hold grudges against anybody. So I'm interested to see what happens when the two of them are together. So now they introduce Yandy to this season. Yandy was saying that she's been trying to keep busy and stay positive and try to make money for her and her family because obviously Mendices has been locked up in prison for quite some time now. I heard that he's getting ready to get out soon, but until then, Yandy has to keep it pushing and keep working hard. And so she's attending this prison reform event where she gives this really good speech. I thought it was great, and I hope that she continues to work on the whole prison reform thing even after Mendices gets out of prison because it's definitely something that deserves a lot more attention than it's gotten. Obviously, Remy Ma was there to support because she's been to prison before. I think she was in prison for about 6 years and now she's out, and so she's there to support, which I thought was good. Rich Dollars is there too because he and Yandy are friends. Now, Remy Ma tells everyone how she's off parole and how she wants to celebrate that by throwing this big party for everybody to come. And so I'm interested to see what happens when everybody shows up to this party because, you know, every time they have parties and everybody's invited, it's a whole lot of mess and a whole bunch of chaos. Now, Kimbella ends up showing up, okay? And Yandy and Kimbella are not cool with one another, but Kimbella showed up to support the cause because Joel Santana is obviously her husband and the father of her children, and he is locked up in prison, so she came there to support for that reason and that reason only. Her and Yandy fell out. Yandy feels like Kimbella came for her as a mom. Kimbella had said some things about Yandy and it got back to Yandy, and so the two of them are not really cool anymore, although the two of them were able to be cordial in this particular scene, which I thought was good because of it was a prison reform event, but I definitely could sense the tension between the two of them, and so I'm interested to see what happens the rest of the season between the two of them. Jonathan is chilling with Yandy, and he tells her that Chrissy had contacted him, and Yandy and Chrissy obviously don't get along with each other. Yandy was Jim Jones's manager at one point, and I guess Chrissy and Yandy have been at odds. I guess Chrissy felt like Yandy was overstepping her boundaries when it came to managing Jim, and so the two of them don't like each other, and so Yandy doesn't seem happy about Chrissy coming back in town, but she's gonna have to deal with it because Chrissy's back, and I'm pretty sure that Chrissy is gonna show up to Remy Ma's celebration for being off parole. So I'm interested to see what happens when all of them are in the same room together, because I know it's gonna be a lot of tension. So since Santana is going to be on this season of Love and Hip Hop New York, and she talks about her love for being a mom to her son Lex, who she had with Joe Budden. Her and Joe Budden were together for some time, and they seemed like they were really happy together for the most part from what we were able to see. They ended up having a child together. He even proposed to her at one point, and she accepted his proposal. They obviously had some ups and downs, which we seen after she ended up having the baby. And after 4 months of him proposing to her, she had found out that he was cheating. And so she packed her stuff and she moved out and said that she has no interest in getting back with Joe until he's honest about his cheating, which I completely agree with her. I think it was smart of her to get up and leave because she needs to show him that she's not going to allow him to disrespect her in that way. And so by her picking up leaving, she let him know that she's not going to accept any less than what she feels like she deserves. And I think that that was smart of her. Hopefully they can figure something out, though, because they do have a son, whether they get back together or not. Co-parenting is definitely something that they're going to have to do if they choose not to be together. So Erica Mena and Safaree are also going to be on this season of Love and Hip Hop New York, and they are quite the couple together, okay? I think that they really do look good together, definitely. They look great together, actually. I know they've had a lot of drama in their relationship, though, that we've seen played out all over social media, but right now they seem like everything's going good between them. At this point in time, while filming was happening for this season of Love and Hip Hop New York, they were engaged and they were getting married in 3 weeks from that episode. Now, they had met each other on the show Scared Famous, okay? Now, they kissed during this episode, okay? During this scene, they were kissing, and it was cringeworthy. Like, their kiss was gross. I was like, ugh, disgusting. Like, my eyes rolled in the back of my head when I was watching that. Now, Erica is pregnant, okay? And on this episode, they did not say what the sex of the baby was, but we know from social media that they are having a baby girl, and I hope that everything works out between the two of them because they are having a baby. So Papoose meets up with Rich Dollars and Joe Budden to catch up and play some pool, and he invites them to the party that he's throwing for Remy to celebrate the fact that she's finally off of parole. Now, this, I know, is going to be a very interesting celebration because a lot of people are going to be there at the same time who don't like each other and who have had a really harsh history with one another. So I definitely am interested to see how that ends up going. Now, they end up asking, well, Papoose ends up asking Joe if it's okay if Cyn shows up because they want Cyn to come and they just don't want, you know, either one of them to feel awkward. Now, Joe said that he didn't mind Cyn coming to the party and that him and Cyn haven't really spoken, that he's only seen her when she's dropping the baby off to him, and other than that, he doesn't have any conversations with her at all. Now, he said what happened was he had went on a date with Cyn, and she looked through his phone without him knowing, and she saw some stuff that she did not like in his phone, and she packed her shit and left the house when he was gone, and he came back and she was completely gone and all her stuff was gone too. Now, he claims that he didn't cheat on her and that Cyn misinterpreted what she saw on his phone. I don't believe him. He tries to smooth talk his way out of things, but I don't believe him for 1 second. I think that if she packed her shit up and moved, he definitely cheated on her without a doubt. I don't think that she would just, end things with him when they have a child together if he didn't actually cheat on her. And so he was saying that, he didn't actually cheat, which I believe he's lying. Papoose told him that he needs to acknowledge the fact that he was wrong, and that he's the reason why Cyn left. And, I like that Papoose, told Joe that, because I feel like a real friend is somebody who's not going to sugarcoat things for you. They're going to tell you like it is and not just tell you things that you want to hear. But Joe was saying that he did acknowledge the fact that he was wrong and what happened. Although he still claims he didn't cheat on her, he said that he acknowledged that he was wrong and that it's Cyn the one who's the problem because Cyn doesn't know how to effectively communicate, which I definitely agree with him on that. I feel like Cyn doesn't really know how to communicate effectively, but they're definitely going to have to figure something out because they do have their son, and whether they're together or not, they have to figure out how to be able to co-parent effectively in order to make sure that their son doesn't sense the tension between the two of them. Chrissy goes to meet with Kimbella, okay? And the both of them are skeptical about this meeting and how it's going to go because the last time that they were together, it was not good, okay? So they don't know how it's going to go. I was nervous seeing the two of them sit at the table together. There was so much tension, you can literally cut it with a knife. Now, they talk about that altercation that they had, and it was a really ugly scrap. Kimbella ended up getting her ass beat. I'm not even trying to be mean, but she got drugged, okay? She definitely got drugged. Now, Kimbella asks Chrissy why she attacked her, and Chrissy says that the reason why she acted the way she did is because she felt disrespected, and she didn't like that Kimbella came to that event where they were trying to, comfort Emily. And she feels like Kimbella came there with a lot of mess because Kimbella said that she came to that, gathering, and she told Emily that she was messing with Fabulous a few years ago at that point in time. And so Chrissy didn't like that, and so she beat her ass. I'm just saying she did. So Chrissy ends up apologizing to Kimbella, and Kimbella ends up accepting her apology. Now, Kimbella's better than me because if somebody drugged me like that, I would not be able to be cool with them. I could be in the same room with them and not speak to them and not get into any type of altercation with them, but I'm definitely not about to be friends with somebody who drugged me and made me look like a goddamn fool on national television. That's not happening. But I do like that Chrissy is able to, try to make amends with people and not be on the same bullshit from the past, because when you hold on to so much negative stuff from the past, it really does affect your present and in turn will affect your future. And so I do think that Chrissy's doing the right thing. She doesn't want to be disrespected, and she's saying that she's not going to disrespect anyone else as long as they're not disrespecting her. Now, they end up talking about Yandy because the two of them have one thing in common at this point in time, and it's that neither one of them get along with Yandy. And, Chrissy says that she feels like Yandy overstepped her boundaries when it came to managing Jim Jones, that she was telling Jim Jones what to do with his money and telling him that he shouldn't be spending money on Chrissy and all that shit like that. And so, Chrissy didn't like that, which I definitely think is true. I do think that Yandy should have been doing her job as his manager and not telling him, get involved in too many things in his life because it's like it's not really your place. So I definitely can see where Chrissy's coming from when she says that she feels like Yandy overstepped her boundaries. So Cyn and Joe end up meeting up to talk, and they do this in a public place. They do it outside, I believe, in a park, which I don't know if it was the best idea because two of them together have strong personalities, and, they should have known that it wasn't going to end well with them having this conversation. Now, Cyn was saying that the only way for them to be able to co-parent effectively is that Joe needs to be honest, because she says she saw that he was cheating on her, and she knows he was cheating on her, and she wants him to admit to it because so far he hasn't been admitting to it. Now, he's saying that he feels like he was honest about not being happy in the relationship. Now, we were able to see that, Cyn felt like Joe wasn't interested in her after she had the baby. We saw that play out, but for the most part in the public, they made it seem like everything was good between the two of them. And see, that's what happens when you pretend like everything's good and it's not. You can put that front out to everybody in the world, but with one another, you need to be honest and transparent with one another. And they claim that this is what this conversation was going to be, them being honest and transparent with one another, but it ended up turning ugly real fast because as soon as Joe said that he didn't cheat on her, she went off like a rocket. Okay, she went off because she feels like he's insulting her intelligence. He's telling her she didn't see what she saw and that she's misinterpreting what she saw. Now, if you're gonna go through a guy's phone and search for things, you're gonna find something. Period. She was looking for stuff and she found it. Okay, I believe that she saw what she saw, and I believe that he just doesn't want to admit to the fact that he cheated on her. And so she went off on him because she feels like he's not being honest, which I definitely do think that he needs to just be honest, because it's not going to go anywhere between the two of them if they don't. And they have a son together, so they do need to learn how to co-parent together. But I think that Cyn also needs to realize that even if he's not honest with her, she can just decide not to be with him and still be able to co-parent effectively. Don't let the the fact that he's not being honest stop you from moving forward in order for your son to see a healthy relationship between his parents. You don't have to be in a relationship with Joe, but you're going to have some type of relationship with him for the time being while your son is still underage, and that's a baby. So she's going to have to deal with Joe for a very long time. And so she starts flipping out. They go their separate ways. She's yelling and screaming. She's telling production to take the microphone off of her and get the cameras out of her face. And Joe was saying that he knew that that was going to happen because that's the way that Cyn acts. She can't communicate effectively, which we were able to see. I feel like if she keeps flipping out like that every time they have a conversation, the conversation is never going to move forward because she can't get through the conversation without flipping out, although I can tell why she's upset and I understand completely why she's upset. Joe needs to just be honest. So it's the night of Remy Ma's celebration for being off parole, and they look like they're having a really good time. Papoose ends up doing a rap for Remy, and it was really good, and I hope that they stay together for a very long time because I really like seeing them together as a couple. I think that they're great together. I think that they're a really great match from what we're able to see, because I know things could happen behind the scenes that we don't know about, but from what we're able to see, I think that they're great together. Now, Cyn feels awkward being in the same place as not just Joe, but Erica and Rich, because she obviously has a baby with Joe. He cheated on her. She was engaged to him, and so it's awkward between the two of them. And then she dated Erica. They had a lot of drama. She had drama with Rich too, so it was just like completely awkward. And I knew it was going to be like this at this event because everybody was invited and everybody has some type of history with one another that's not very good. Now, Safaree and Erica are talking to Remy when Joe Budden ends up coming up to them, and that is awkward in itself because, you know, Safaree and Joe had a falling out, but they ended up making up with one another, and so that was good because that was less tension in the room. But it was awkward because Rich ends up going up to them, okay, which I don't understand why Rich went up to them at all. Maybe to apologize to Safaree, that would have been okay, but he knows damn well Erica ain't trying to be nowhere around him, and so I thought it was awkward as hell when he went up to them. Now, he ended up shaking hands with Safaree. Safaree shook hands with him, so that means that they have peace with one another. He tried to shake hands with Erica. Erica would not shake his hand, and I heard him whisper to somebody at another table when he walked away from them that because she wouldn't shake his hand, he wanted to spit in her face. And I'm like, he's too old to be acting like that, okay? It's like him and Erica was never good for one another. I don't even know if Erica really liked him or if she was just messing with him for a storyline. I don't know, but he needs to get over it and stop acting like a child. Now, everyone looks nervous, okay? Every single person in the room looks nervous because Kimbella and Chrissy end up showing up together and Yandy is there, okay? Yandy looks up and she sees the two of them together. She feels some type of way about seeing Kimbella and Chrissy together because Kimbella and Chrissy had so many issues. She didn't think she would ever see them two linked up together, which nobody did. And so they walked up in together looking like a dynamic duo, and Yandy did not look happy about it. Everyone looks nervous, and Chrissy and Kimbella end up going up to Yandy, and the episode cut there. I thought this was a really good episode. I want to know what you guys thought about this episode down in the comment section. Like this video, subscribe to my channel for more videos, and thanks to all the people who are already supporting my channel by subscribing. I appreciate you all so very much, and I will see you in my next video. Also, I will have my review for episode 2 up tomorrow, so be on the lookout for that. And once again, I will see you in my next video.